evening. It's time for our bi-monthly meeting. Rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call will show that all council members are present with the exception of Jason Atherton. We'll move on to the consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes of the June 8th, 2026 meeting, approval of bills and claims, licenses and permits, which include a cigarette permit for Beer 30 Carroll, renewal of Class C retail alcohol license for Brothers on Main, infill housing incentive application, and appointments to committees, commissions, and boards. Appointed by Mayor with council approval as Ann Fitzpatrick to the Historical Preservation Commission, 3-year unexpired term, and the fiscal year 2027 outside agency funding agreement resolutions. Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Jeff.
Second.
Second. Turn. Kyle. Okay. Kyle seconded. Roll call, please.
Dirks?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right, are there any oral requests from, or communications from the audience regarding anything that is not on tonight's agenda that anyone would like to speak on? Okay, we'll move on to ordinances. We have one ordinance, water rate, second reading. Randy.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time for your consideration of the second reading of the water rate ordinance. As you'll recall, the 2025 water study kind of indicated a projected series of water rate increases, this year's being 4.5%. That is included in the ordinance. I've also updated the revenue expense projection from a year ago with the numbers that we have as of now, current. Of course, we're closing in on the end of the fiscal year, so those numbers will be firmed up following the close of the fiscal year, and they can be reported also. So at this point, unless you have any questions, I'd recommend your consideration of approval of the second reading of the ordinance and consideration of waiver of the third and adoption of the ordinance.
All right, any questions?
Why is there two recommendations on the sheet?
I just added to the memorandum that you had received last meeting. So we added the second recommended for the second reading.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion to do this or not?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Laverne. and
Second.
Carolyn seconded it.
Yeah.
So approve it. This is
To waive the
Waive the
third.
third.
Second and waive the third reading.
Right.
Roll call, please.
Coster?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Yes,
Motion is approved.
I'd move to adopt the ordinance.
All right, there's a motion to adopt,
Second.
seconded by Laverne. Roll call, please.
Taylor?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to resolutions. First resolution is fiscal year 2027 property liability and workers' compensation insurance renewal, and Laura.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the time of year that we look through and go through our property liability and worker compensation insurance renewal information. Currently, we work with Mid-Iowa Insurance and Real Estate as our local agent, and our current coverage is through the Iowa Communities Assurance Pool, or ICAP, for the liability, property, and our cybersecurity coverage. And our worker comp coverage is through Iowa Municipal Workers' Compensation Association, or IMWCA. For this year's renewal, we did seek a quote from both ICAP, our current provider, as well as the Employers Mutual Casualty Company, EMC. In years past, EMC has declined to give a quote to the city due to a number of reasons. But this year, they did give us a quote. And you do attach to the memorandum is a breakdown of the quote from EMC. It was less than ICAP's quote by quite a little bit. EMC also does provide worker compensation coverage, and so they gave us a quote for that as well, but that is quite a bit higher than IMWCA's quote. So the recommendation is to switch from ICAP to EMC for the liability and property coverage, but stay with IMWCA for our worker compensation coverage. So the total between those two added together is $533,827, which is actually about a little over $83,400 less than what we currently pay this fiscal year. And well below our budgeted amount, it's $115,000 less than what we had budgeted for our fiscal '27 expense. We do have representatives from Mid-Iowa here to ask any questions about the switch. Staff feels comfortable with the switch. We had contacted a couple of the other cities who have EMC in the switch and had received favorable feedback from them about working with EMC.
Laura, are the coverages identical, or are there any differences between the coverages?
They are very similar. There might be some slight differences on maybe the deductible amount, but I think we did quote pretty much the same deductible. So yeah, they're very similar.
Okay.
Does anyone have any questions?
Josh, is EMC gonna cover some things that have happened in the past with,
So they will not cover any open, so that's kind of the issue we've had the last few years of not getting quotes with them, is that we had a significant amount of open claims. We still have some open claims, but we after a few meetings with Aaron and Laura, we thought that now was a good time to switch. They also provide a 5-year tail coverage, EMC, in the quote. That's part of the premium that we pay for the first couple years, is they cover the last 5 years of unknown acts. So if there was an incident that happened 3 years ago that we didn't know about, EMC does pick up the coverage on that, so yes.
so if we didn't have that 5-year protection, what would the premiums be?
I believe about $33,000 was part of the premium for that 5-year tail coverage through EMC. So, and that does phase off of the, so, you know, not including that, it looks even more favorable to the ICAP quote.
Okay, are these the only 2 companies in the state? I've heard that, is that true?
Not exactly. I think there's a couple other ones, but for the size of Carroll, I think that they're the only two options that I know of that are available to us. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Josh, if I read this correctly, it said that once we cancel the coverage with the one company, any claims that did happen in the past, they won't honor.
Correct. Yes, that's one of the weird.
How
things
could they
about
do that if you had coverage at the time the incident took place?
It's a bizarre policy, and I think ICAP's one of the only ones. So ICAP isn't actually an insurance company; they're a pool of member, municipalities. So their policy really doesn't look anything. It's just different than a standard insurance policy, because you're right. There's really no other insurance companies that I know of that have a policy similar to this. But yes, July 1, if you make the switch, they're not, and something happened 3 years ago that we don't know about, they're not footing the bill for that.
And that's legal?
It is, yes.
Okay. It seems odd to me.
It is odd. It is odd.
So are you seeing any cosmetic, like, obviously, a lot of us, if we had any damage to our home, there was cosmetic exclusions on any of that.
Yep.
Is that gonna be similar?
They both, ICAP and EMC both have the cosmetic damage exclusions.
Okay.
So the coverages there, while not ideal, are yes, they're identical, so.
Okay.
Isn't there a period of time that if they try to come back for something, they can't?
Like a statute of limitations
Yes.
type of situation.
Yes.
It would go back to the statute of limitations, which I'm not an expert on, but yeah, it would be statute of limitations.
So it should also be noted that any open property claims, which is different than liability claims, any open property claims, ICAP will continue to cover until it's wrapped up. Is that correct, John?
Correct, yes.
Okay, sounds like we're protected.
Are there any noticeable differences that would be in their favor that you would note, or?
In ICAP's favor?
Yes.
So there are slight differences in the coverages. For like liability, there was, ICAP has or EMC has a cap on our $7 million worth of liability, and they have a $7 million aggregate, whereas ICAP did not. So really the only time it would come into play is if there were multiple claims in a year that would go over that $7 million mark. That was the main difference that stuck out to us. And then there's, like I said, some slight deductible differences, but they're as comparable as we could get. The policies are not, they're not exactly apples to apples, but they're as close as we could possibly get to the same, similar.
Any other questions?
Did well.
All right, well, there'd be a motion to approve the recommendation as presented
So moved.
by Jeff,
Second?
by Laverne. Roll call vote, please.
Seaman?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Dirk?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Move on to Westfield Urban Renewal Plan and hearing.
Thank you, Mayor. As we're going down this change in the urban renewal area, there's a lot of, as I love all the attorneys in the room, but there is a lot of attorney gobbledygooking. Anyway, so what we need to do. Well,
I know that was a legal term, but.
I like it.
It's gobbledygook.
I think it is.
Very good.
So the first resolution we have in front of us is the terminating of the Westfield Urban Renewal Plan, which is the original urban renewal plan that we put in place back in 2007. And what that does is the increment that was created from 2007 to current, we now release that to all of the taxing entities. So as we go through these resolutions, that will be kind of the overall gist, or resolutions and ordinances, but the first one is terminating the old Westfield urban renewal area.
Do we have any idea what that increment is or how much it will benefit the other taxing entities?
I did not
Or
go back.
ourselves, I guess.
Yeah, I did not go back and look to see what those,
Well,
Go ahead.
I'll pipe in a little bit. So we had not been capturing all of that this last year because we only needed a small amount. So we, in essence, had really released most of it.
Okay.
When I say we hadn't captured them, I would say probably less than 5% had been captured this last year. So the other taxing entities were already getting the benefit.
And that was to pay off the infrastructure for the Walmart area and the lights and the streets and all
The
of that?
last little bit was actually for some public improvements that were put in when Western Iowa Networks built their building out there.
And so basically that is taken care of now for the
Yes.
most part?
Yes,
Okay.
yep. We made the last payment this fiscal year.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Would we have a motion to approve the resolution terminating the Westfield Urban Renewal Plan at this time?
So moved.
By
Second.
Carolyn and Jeff seconded. Roll call, please.
Taylor?
Yes.
Dirk?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
All right, and we'll go on to the 2026 Westfield Urban Renewal Plan, and Aaron again.
so this is actually now we're putting in the 2026 urban renewal plan, which is the exact same footprint. But we're setting the base, or we will be setting the base here in the near future for this urban renewal plan.
Just a minute, we do need to open up a
Yep.
public hearing.
If you want, let me
You wanna finish?
basically finish, and then you can open the
Yeah.
public hearing. So we're doing the same thing as what we had, but we're starting and setting the base here for the 2026 year for the urban renewal area.
Okay, so that, we do need to open up a public hearing. It is 5:29 right now. Public hearing is open. Is there anyone that has any input about this, that would like to discuss this? You don't want to come up? Okay,
It should also be noted that we did hold our consultation and meeting with the PNC as according to putting a new plan into place. And no comments, I had not received any comments prior to the public hearing.
Correct. Me either.
all right, we will close the public hearing at 5:30. And any discussion from council or questions? All right, if not, we'll look for a approval of a resolution terminating the Westfield Urban Renewal, I'm sorry. Yeah, we better go.
We
I
already
better
done
read
that.
this correctly. Resolution determining the area of the city to be an economic development area, and that the conservation, redevelopment, development of, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, or welfare of the residents of the city, designating such area as appropriate for urban renewal projects, and adopting the 2026 Westfield Urban Renewal Plan. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Laverne, Jeff seconded. Roll call, please.
Seaman?
Yes.
Dirk?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
All right, we will move on to the Westfield Urban Renewal Plan. Again, Aaron.
So this is the ordinance that we would be repealing that allows us to collect the taxes levied in the urban renewal area of the original Westfield Urban Renewal Plan. I would recommend a first reading and then waive the second, third for the adoption of this ordinance.
Any questions?
Is that because there was a time restraint on this?
Nope, just that we're gonna be considering the ordinance for the 2026 urban renewal area. And this has very little effect on anybody or anything other than the taxing entities. So it's actually, I would say it's a benefit for the taxing entities for us to waive those and put this new ordinance in place.
And you've already met with the schools in the county on this?
We had our consultation
Right.
meeting, but
Okay.
didn't have anybody come to that, but we
They're
have
aware.
contact, they're aware, and we've had contact with some supervisors that would like discussion about it.
Anyone else? All right, would there be a motion to approve the first reading and waive the second and third readings?
So moved.
Second.
Jeff and
Kyle.
By Kyle seconded. Roll call, please.
Dirks?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Can I look for a motion to adopt the proposed ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
By Jeff and Laverne, seconded. Roll call, please.
Seaman?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted.
All right, we move on to 2026 Westfield Urban Renewal Plan. Aaron.
So this is the replacement of the ordinance that we just waived, so that we would be putting into place for the tax increment in the 2026 Westfield Urban Renewal Area, and the local options. I guess there's two ordinances there. I'll wait for the second one. Which the second one is actually putting in place the local sales tax revenue tax increment financing ordinance. So we handle that in two ordinances.
Questions at all? Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
By Jeff,
Second.
by Kyle. Roll call, please.
Dirks?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Seaman?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Okay, you want to explain the second one when you're done?
So in the second ordinance, we are collecting the 1 cent sales tax in the area that we will then be utilizing to pay the incentive in the development agreement that we'll be considering. So this is it's a very similar process to property tax, except it's the 1 cent sales tax rather than the property tax dollars.
All right, I look for a motion to approve.
And that is just for that entity, right?
That is just for that urban renewal area, correct?
The whole area?
Yes.
So it would.
So it sets the base just like the property tax. So any local option sales tax that is being distributed out of that area right now gets distributed. We set the base and that continues to happen at that level. Any increase in that local option sales tax then we would collect to pay the incentive going forward to the development agreement,
And we're doing that in lieu of the property tax incentive or
Correct.
in addition to?
in lieu of.
Okay.
Anything else for Aaron? Is there a motion to approve the first reading?
So moved.
Carolyn,
Second.
Kyle seconded. Roll call, please.
Seaman?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Motion is approved.
All right, and we're now to the 2026 Westfield Urban Renewal Plan. Aaron?
Thank you, Mayor. And yes, this is the opportunity where we've worked with 30 Love to do a development agreement with in this Westfield urban renewal area to do a development to bring what we've learned now as TJ Maxx to the community. This plan will help 30 Love make that fiscally possible.
All right, we need to open a public hearing. It is 5:36. I'll open a public hearing regarding the development agreement with 30 Love LLC. Is there any comment from the public this evening? Need to wait about 20 seconds so that we did at least a minute here.
Well, I'll note that I had not received any comments in the office
Okay.
prior to.
And I have not either.
Okay.
We do have two representatives from 30 Love that if you have any questions, you can bring them up to discuss with them also.
Do you have any input that you want to add here at all? No? Okay.
Not if they don't have to.
Okay, certainly not required, that's fine. All right, I'll close the public hearing, it's 5:37. Any questions or input from council?
Yeah, when J.C. Penney's was leaving, when I was on the city council at that time, many people come up to me and others and say, what can you do as a city to keep them here? Well, that was a corporate decision, not locally, so TJ Maxx is basically our replacement of J.C. Penney's, is my mind.
Anything else? All right, we'll look for a motion to approve the authorizing execution of a development agreement by and between the city of Carroll and 30 Love LLC. Is there a motion?
So moved.
By Deb
Second?
and Jeff seconded. Roll call, please.
Taylor,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirk,
Yes.
Coster.
Yes.
Resolution's approved.
All right, we'll move on to water system pressure zone improvements. We'll give Aaron a break and go with Randy.
Thank you, Mayor. The Mid-American Energy has submitted a or an electric service extension proposal for extending service to the Northwest Pressure Zone project, the pump station and water tower. The conditions of the advance and refund in the proposal are detailed, but in summarized, there is an advance payment required of $17,178.50. And then that is subject to a one-time refund that's based on 12 months of actual revenue less their Mid-American's fuel expense and energy efficiency cost recovery charges. That actually, the refund is 3 times the 12 months revenue. So unless there are any questions, I would recommend approval of the electric service extension proposal and of the payment to Mid-American Energy in the amount of $17,178.50.
Randy, when does the time start, the 12 months? Once we're operational or the minute we start utilizing electricity for any purpose?
No, once it's operational. Actually, the service will be in the name of the contractor during construction, and once it's switched, when construction is completed, it'll be switched over to the city, and that's when the 12 months begins.
And what was the timeline on the project as a whole?
It has a completion date of December 31st of 2027.
Okay. Okay.
Randy, I'm just curious, do they tell us about this, or do we tell them that we're doing this? How does this come about, this expense? And is this something that it's common knowledge to you that you notify them, or?
We notified them to request service to that site. And part of their standard practice is to charge for putting it in up front and then issuing a refund based on the usage. And 1 year's usage, 3 times that would be the refund. But that is their policy.
I guess to me it makes sense because something could happen and never occurs,
Mhm.
and they've already done the work. So.
Right. Yep.
Do we have any guesstimate on what our usage would be? I mean, I suspect it's an unknown at this point, isn't it?
It's pretty hard to estimate, you know, it'll depend on water usage. Not certain what their fees are for energy efficiency and fuel expense, those are deducted. But the 3-year payback or 3-year basis for those 12 months use, based on the use of the current system, should be, the majority of the advance should be recouped, refunded.
The energy efficiency, I'm confused on that one. We get penalized for efficiency? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, Mid-American has a charge, you know, surcharge for their energy efficiency improvements. And they don't want to refund that surcharge.
Okay.
As they do a fuel surcharge, that's on the bill, and they don't want to refund that fuel surcharge. But otherwise, the rest of the tariff, the electric rate tariff, is what it would be based on, the refund would be based on.
Any other questions? If not,
I'd move approval of the resolution.
by Jeff, is there a second?
Second.
By Carolyn. Roll call, please.
Bauer,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirk,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Coster.
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
All right, we'll move on to the 9.465 million, subject to adjustment per terms of offering general obligation capital loan notes, series 2026A. And Laura.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Back in March of 2025, council did hold a public hearing on this debt issuance, and as time has gone on, we have taken bids for almost all the projects except for the US 30 traffic signals project. And we worked through and built this information into our budget proposal for fiscal 20, re-estimates 26 and budget 27. This is the next step in that debt issuance process, is for council to approve this resolution, approving, saying it's acceptable to take in electronic bids on the day of bidding, as well as authorizing the distribution of the preliminary official statement. And PFM does recommend using what they call the parity or the competitive electronic bidding process. Sealed bids are also welcome to be dropped off at City Hall. I do contact each of the local banks to let them know the city is issuing debt, and if they would like to put in a bid, they are welcome to do so. In regards to the preliminary official statement, it is a document that is required to put together, and by approving this tonight, we're deeming it nearly final. I did find one small change that will be made before it goes out on page 4, under the litigation section. It basically has, right now in your copy, has the same wording as what's under the debt payment history. So that will be updated to basically state that the city is not aware of any litigation that is pending that would affect our ability to repay this debt. The bidding is scheduled for 10 a.m. on July 13th, which is our next council meeting, and once all the bids are received, PFM will collect them and go through them and review them, and then make a recommendation at the council meeting that night. But for tonight, we're looking for a motion to approve this resolution that approves using this electronic bidding procedures, and then as well as the distribution of the preliminary official statement.
Any questions regarding that? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Carolyn
Second.
and Kyle. Roll call, please.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirk,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Coster.
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Thank you. We'll move on to the resolution approving and authorizing execution of a consent to assignment agreement between Kirkhoff Craftsman Incorporated and the estates at Emerald Links LLC. And Aaron.
Thank you, Mayor. This resolution is changing the person or the designee on our development agreement from Kirkhoff Craftsman to the estates of Emerald Links. Kirkhoff Craftsman is still the primary and is considered what I would say the president of the LLC. However, it allows the developer that he had mentioned in his bringing that information forward to us, it allows that person to be part of the development agreement and then it allows them to be part of their financing project. So it really means a lot, very little to us other than to put that development agreement with the LLC as opposed to with just Kirkhoff Craftsman Incorporated.
Kirkhoff Craftsman is a part of this,
Yes.
right?
What's our cost to do this?
Our cost for this part of it, or do you mean the legal
Like,
side of it?
how much
or-
legal do we have to do to make this change at this point? Is this something Dave does, or?
No, this was something that is written by Nathan Overberg, so an hour of their time to do that.
You're just gonna make an assignment? Like, we're not rewriting the entire document?
Yes. That's the recommendation from Allers and Cooney.
Any other questions? Try to look for a motion to approve consent to assignment agreement between Kirkhoff Craftsman Incorporated and the estates at Emerald Links.
So move.
By Jeff.
Second.
Kyle,
Kyle.
roll call, please.
Seaman,
Yes.
Coster,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Taylor,
Yes.
Dirk.
Yes.
Resolution is approved.
Okay, we have one more resolution, the 2026 Downtown Facade Grant Program, and Aaron.
Thank you again. The committee that oversees or reviews the downtown facade grant program met this past week, and we had 6 applicants, one of which was actually a late applicant, one of which of the buildings is not actually in the area, and 4 that were on time and in the downtown facade area or downtown urban renewal area. After reviewing the applicants, the committee felt that all 5 of the 6 applicants were acceptable. They approved all 4 that were in the downtown urban renewal area, along with the Minchin House, which is not in the area, but they felt because of the historical value of the building and the amount of investment that they're putting in, they felt that that was a good investment of our sales tax dollars. So the recommendation is to not approve the late applicant, which also does not follow the downtown design guides. So to not approve that one, but the other 5 applicants.
Aaron, question.
Yes.
If the applicant who's not meeting the design guidelines were to come back and say, we will meet the design guidelines, can that be reconsidered, or is it outside the window of the time window that we allowed?
Well, their application came in like June 6th, I believe, and we had extended the application timelines from the end of April to the end of May. So it would be outside the timelines, but they could certainly hold off on that project and wait until next year to apply again. Just the last thing, so the recommended award amount for the 5 applications would be $72,388.10, which the council had approved a budget of $100,000 out of local option sales tax.
And I guess the reason I asked that question, I went to the Northwest Iowa League meeting in Jefferson earlier, and they had done a similar program, facade grants and things like that. And I hadn't been in downtown Jefferson for a while. It really looked nice. So I'm really kind of excited to see all of these businesses investing in their own properties and us assisting it, because I think ultimately we have to do those types of things.
Yep, I agree.
My only reservation on the North Main Street, with it being outside of the area, where do you draw the line with the next person that comes and asks? And are we willing to open that up? Because that's going to be the next question.
You could look at the Minchin House because of its historic value and the service that they provide as I would say it's probably a one-off and something that you could probably look at as and understand why we would do that. It does open us up to a little bit of a I forget the word, what'd you use earlier this
A
morning?
bad precedent.
Yeah, it opens us
Well-
up to a precedent that then we now have to pick and choose
You know, we talk
in the
about
future.
the downtown design guide. That one, you know, definitely doesn't follow downtown. You know, if we're not qualifying one of the other ones, that for me, that definitely doesn't qualify. The first four, 100%. I think it's great that people are investing in their properties, but you know, there's a reason that we went through the downtown design guide. We want these things back to the original look, you know.
But they were also late too.
No, that one was not late.
Well, these, I read it here that they're late.
No, the Mansion House was not late. The hair bit, or the
Here it is.
522.5 was late.
Okay.
Adam?
Adam
was part of the-
I can just throw up a little bit of information there. The
Get
Midget
your
House.
name, Adams. for
Oh,
the
Adam
record.
Schweers, Carroll County Growth Partnership, also was, part of the review for the committee. One of the things that we felt was important to take into consideration was, the district runs right along Seventh Street, and BMO Bank is right there, and they literally share a parking lot with the Mansion House. So, while, yes, we drifted just a hair off, it's still almost all one property, and it's very visible from the downtown, and kind of part of that Main Street district. They're also investing over $300,000 into restoring the property. So we definitely weighted that and gave them some additional points for that. Another thing we did take into consideration was, that business has been around for, I think, I wanna say 30 years or better. And, the mission is good. They've also cleaned up the property further north. And, so we did deliberate quite a bit on it before we made this concession, but really, there was just a lot of factors there that we felt warranted the investment that they're making and what they're doing for the community, and that was kind of where we were at. To your point, though, I do understand Pandora's box and opening it up and how that could look, but, you know, if another project were to come along that had all of these criterias and all of these weights, I'd be very surprised to find another one that's really gonna match up with something like that outside of the district. So, we felt pretty good about making the recommendation for those reasons.
How many people were on that committee?
There's three of us.
Three of us.
We've had John Perrin, myself, and then it was Kimberly Tiefenthaler, but now it's Adam.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion, or is there any type of motion that anyone would like to make at this time?
Is this gonna require two actions? Is that what I'm reading?
So, you could make a motion, somebody could make a motion to approve it as it is, as it's presented. I assume they could also make a motion to exclude one or all of these and approve them
Well,
specifically.
motion
separately.
number one is the 5 projects.
That's how it's described, yes.
Yeah, so the, 522 would not be in that one.
Right.
But you as a that's the recommendation from staff and from the board, or the review board. If you wish to change that motion, you can do that.
That's just
Or
their
make a
suggestions,
different,
not-
or make a different motion.
Well, it's a recommendation.
What are the 5?
The,
Run through it again, please.
so the five that we are recommending is 601 North Main Street, the Covenant Church, which is a grant for $6,600 for the alleyway and the fire escape. The second is 516, 518 North Adams Street for Board and Arrows Meat Market. That's a $5,700 grant for a new sign that will be on, I believe, 518 North, the building just on the north edge of the mall. The third is 224 West Fifth Street, Mrs. Glenn and Company. That is a $20,000 grant for pretty much a complete overhaul of the facade of their building, which used to be
Flower loft,
flower
garden? Okay.
flower garden. And then the 1, 2, 3, 4th, that is 111 West 6th Street. That is the old tax building on Highway 30, which will be a $20,000 complete rehab of the front facade there also.
The front on Highway 30.
Yeah, on 30. The 5th one would be the 726 North Main Street, which is the Minchin House. So that, the total for those projects is $72,388.10. If you wish to add the 522.5 North Adams Street, which is Hair Biz, that would add another $18,891.36.
Big thanks.
Did they happen to indicate why they wanted to leave the windows up above the way they are?
I would venture a guess cost. That's typically what a lot of people have done. It's cheaper to buy a standard window than to go back with the old building and open up those old
Sure.
apertures that way.
But, yeah, I guess if you're not getting anything, your cost is still up there. I'll make a motion for the first four. 601 North Main Street, the 516 and 518 North Adams Street, 224 West 5th Street, and then 111 West 6th Street.
Motion to approve those four, funding for those four projects. Is there a second? Right, no second for that. Are there any other motions?
I'll make a motion for number 1. Approve the 5.
The 5, and we better be specific than the first four.
522 and a half
So,
is not part of it,
so you're recommending what staff
what the
recommended?
committee.
Yes.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
By Jeff. Laverne made the motion. Second by Jeff. Roll call, please.
Coster,
I need to abstain because I'm on that first 4 list, and that's family on the North Adams Street with nothing.
Taylor,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Could I just make a comment? I think I love the building, it's beautiful and so on. I was really conflicted, but I think if we're going to make an exception and other people will come forward, but they won't necessarily have the historic merit that this does and the sizable investment. Is there any way that we could revisit the criteria for this? And maybe, as Adam said, it's visible, it shares the parking lot, it's so close to the district we're including now. I would just feel better. I don't want to be, personally, I do not want to be put in a position of appearing arbitrary because the criteria is not defined, and well, we'll do this, but we won't do that, because we'll all have different ideas, and I'd rather have, I function better with guidelines. And again, that's just me, but I don't know, would maybe think about
Sure.
what we could do to keep our focus if we're doing the facades so they're restored and we are emphasizing like brown shoe fit, getting back to the original facade. Is there some way we could maybe expand the area or do something to keep that criterion
Just wanted to be more specific.
be more specific, so we address
Yep.
why we are including the Minchin House.
Yeah, we can address that.
It does have quite a history, beautiful building, so
Yep.
anyway, maybe think about.
For the next round, or
Yeah.
if council chooses to do this again next year, we can certainly review the criteria and add that add some
Or,
verbiage to,
yeah,
with historic
come up with
value.
some ideas.
Yeah.
I don't have the ideas, but at least give us some guidance so we aren't
Yep.
put in that position.
So 522.5 can apply again next year.
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
So Adam, to you two are on the committee, between the two of you, are you willing to have the committee discuss this? And come up with a proposal for a later date to see if we can clean this up? Go on up, Adam.
Yeah, so, I mean, I ran into this personally, just to give you a little background. We restored and rehabbed the whole face of the McNabb building, but previously, we stopped right at the courthouse, and we did not extend the facade improvement grants across the street to where we did the Daily Times and where we did the historic apartments and the other apartment building. So we were not able to get any assistance with what we've done so far to the exterior of the McNabb. And we've still got another 100,000 or better to go before I'm gonna be done rehabbing that. But that was outside the district, it didn't qualify. I just felt in this particular instance, it's a good community, family-owned business, and they're doing a lot of investing in the property, and it just, for me, I felt like it was the right time to do something. There isn't, if you really drive up and down the streets based upon the district, there's not gonna be a whole lot of other possibilities. I mean, technically, I don't know, New Mini-Camino News Building, if they ever needed to do something with that, that was a historic, architecturally different and unique for its time. You know, that would be a building that I could definitely see, you know, down the road, if they were ever need to do something significant to it, it might make sense, it might fall into the criteria, but there's not a whole lot of one-offs that you can really find outside of your district right now that you've designated, so I don't think you're gonna really run into this very often.
I do have a question, Adam, and this was, I mean, it was in the current year that we're just finishing up. It was the daycare center, childcare. I mean, it's beautiful, the paint job they did. But what in there would actually be historical improvement or taking it back to original? Because they painted the building, which is fabulous, but there's nothing that took it back to where it was when it was the old Fairway Market, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and the Fairway Market, of course, obviously had its own design type to it, so it kind of depends on where you're looking at the project itself. You know, that was a improvement of the look, along with some of the infrastructure that needed to be replaced on that building or fixed on that building, as opposed, it's not, historical value isn't always the end all be all, but it is something that we do consider.
Well, I guess I'm with Carolyn there. We might want to make sure we're a little more black and white in some of that, so that we don't have this in the future, like, because I think we could open.
I think even by discussing the generalities that you mentioned, the size of the investment, the historical significance, that although they're kind of vague, when you look at the Mansion House per se, and you say 300 and some thousand investment, and I think anybody that's lived in Carroll any length of time recognizes there's some historical significance. But those types of things, in addition to maybe some other factors that, you know, if people have some ideas that they could give to the committee between now and whenever.
Well, unfortunately for me, through CCGP, we also have our facade improvement grant. Now granted, these are only $1,000 grants that we're able to provide. We don't have the kind of funding. But I do have Katie Mason from Coon Rapids and Don Meyer from Manning, who are both Main Street, and they do a ton of historic rehabs on downtowns. So we have some criteria that we follow when we hand out facade improvement grants as well, that we can certainly integrate into the cities, because they're always looking for input on what they know they had to do in order to qualify for some of those types of things. So to the 522 point, it would be an absolute no-no to go back in and not do the entire full window size that was there originally. So that's kind of where it falls through the cracks. So, but we did use, I mean, some of our recommendation kind of came off of those CCGP recommendations that I've seen the gals make their recommendations on as well.
Hey, Adam, I have a question regarding what you chose not to do. It didn't fit. Is it fair to say that had those qualified, you would have made some more improvements
Yeah, I just couldn't afford to keep going, so I only did the front strip of the building, but I've still gotta go all the way down it, and then do the whole entrance of the building and wrap it around and the whole thing, so.
I'm
I
just
just did
asking
off what I
because-
could afford.
I just ask because it seems to me like that's a good example of what this type of program can be in a positive way for businesses, because you could have gone a little further if you qualified.
Yeah,
And,
for sure.
right, so, okay, well, thank you.
Thanks.
And, let's see, we do need to make approve another resolution authorizing advancement of costs for the urban renewal project and certification of expenses incurred by the city for payment under Iowa Code Section 403.19. Is there a motion?
So move.
Jeff?
Second.
There's
Whatever.
A roll call, please.
Seaman?
Yes.
Bauer?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes?
Dirks?
Yes.
Coster?
I'm just confirming that we're gonna pay, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
no, I mean, I
So-
don't wanna get conflict of interest here, so yes.
Yeah, so what that is that's actually, submitting debt to the urban renewal area, because what we typically do is, in the urban renewal area, in this case, the buildings that are in the urban renewal area, we use local option sales tax to pay for it, but then we go back and take the urban renewal dollars and reinvest back to our local option sales tax, so going back to the property tax issue, the people that are getting the benefit are actually paying the property taxes that go back to the grants. Yep. If you knew that, I apologize for
We got a yes.
going back through that whole
That's a yes
thing.
for
I'm
me.
sorry.
Resolution is approved.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. We have no reports this evening. The only reports are available for all of us. Comment from there, I'm gonna make one. I had a business meeting in Denver, Colorado. I guess there's a Denver, Iowa too, of course, but I was in Denver, Colorado for the last part of this past weekend. It's an eye-opener to go into bigger cities compared to Carroll. It reminded me of just driving through there. By the way, they have quite a few empty buildings in downtown Denver, and I'm sure it's the same in a lot of places. It's the same thing Carroll deals with. I will take our problems over Denver's any day. So, just want to make that comment. Anyone from the city council have a comment tonight? And how about from the city manager?
Yeah, one comment. We were notified from IEDA that our catalyst application for the Painted Pony or the Anderson Shoe building was not accepted. Or I should say it wasn't accepted, it was not funded. So unfortunately, we had a lot of high hopes for that grant with that application, but it was not accepted. And so hopefully you can all be a little patient with her and the facade in particular. So hopefully they can apply next year for the facade grant. And we'll probably be working with them and maybe have something hopefully talk to Rick Hunsiger at Region 12 about some low interest loans for them to help them with that move.
All right, is there any motion to adjourn?
So move.
By Jeff,
Second.
Kyle seconded, roll call.
Seaman?
Yes.
Dirks?
Yes.
Coster?
Yes.
Taylor?
Yes.
Bauer?